Hello, little story explorers. Are you ready for a tale about a king who was known for being the happiest fellow in all the land? Let's travel to a bright and cheerful kingdom for the story of old King Cole and the missing fiddle. Once upon a time, in a castle so grand it touched the clouds, lived a king named Cole. Now, this wasn't just any king. Old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He loved to laugh, and his chuckle echoed through the castle halls like warm sunshine. He had a magnificent crown, a comfy throne, and a heart full of joy. King Cole had three favorite things in the whole wide world. First, he loved his pipe. It was a long, curly pipe, and when he puffed on it, little smoke rings would dance in the air like tiny ghosts. Second, he loved his bowl. Not just any bowl, mind you. This was his special bowl, always filled with delicious, warm porridge with a swirl of honey. But his most favorite thing of all, that was music. And for that, he called for his fiddlers three. Every day, three talented musicians would come to the great hall. Their names were Finn, Felix, and Fay. Finn played the high, sweet notes that sounded like birds singing. Felix played the deep, rumbling notes that felt like a gentle giant's footsteps. And Fay, the leader, could make her fiddle sing, laugh, and even tell stories without a single word. The king would call, "Bring my pipe, bring my bowl, and bring my fiddlers three." And they would come. The pipe would be lit, the porridge would be served, and the music would begin. The whole castle would fill with the most wonderful melodies. The cooks would whisk their eggs to the rhythm, the guards would tap their feet at their posts, and even the castle cat would swish its tail in time with the music. It was a very, very happy kingdom. One sunny morning, the king woke up feeling extra merry. "What a perfect day for a song!" he declared. He put on his royal robes, settled into his throne, and called out in his big, booming voice, "Bring my pipe, bring my bowl, and bring my fiddlers three." The royal attendants scurried. In came the pipe. In came the bowl of yummy porridge. Then came Finn and Felix, holding their fiddles and bows, ready to play. They stood waiting and waiting. But where was Fay? The king looked around. "Where is our lead fiddler?" he asked. Finn and Felix looked at each other and shrugged. They hadn't seen her all morning. A little frown appeared on the king's cheerful face. Music without Fay was like porridge. Without honey, it just wasn't the same. "Go and find her," the king commanded gently. The castle guards searched everywhere. They looked in the music room. They looked in the garden among the roses. They even peeked into the kitchen, but Fay was nowhere to be found. And worse, her precious fiddle was gone too. Now, the king was worried. The castle felt strangely quiet. The cooks weren't humming, the guards weren't tapping their feet, and the cat was just curled up in a silent ball. The merriness had vanished. Old King Cole sighed. What could have happened? He wondered. Just then, a small page boy named Pip ran into the throne room, all out of breath. "Your Majesty! Your Majesty!" he panted. "I saw something." The king leaned forward. "What did you see, young Pip?" Pip caught his breath and said, "I was by the old oak tree at the edge of the royal woods, and I heard crying. It sounded like sad music." Sad music? In King Cole's kingdom? This was unheard of. "Lead the way, Pip," the king announced, standing up. "Finn, Felix, you come too. We must solve this mystery." So, the merry old king, his two fiddlers, and the little page boy set off towards the royal woods. The sun was bright, but a cloud of worry hung over them. As they got closer to the old oak tree, they could hear it too, a slow, sorrowful tune played on a fiddle. It was a beautiful melody, but it was so sad it could make the daisies droop. They peeked around the giant trunk of the oak tree, and there she was. It was Fay, sitting on a mossy stone, her fiddle resting on her shoulder. Tears were rolling down her cheeks and plopping right onto her fiddle, making a tiny plink, plonk sound. "Fay," the king said softly, stepping out. "There you are. We've been so worried. Why are you here all alone, playing such a sad tune?" Fay looked up startled. She quickly wiped her eyes with her sleeve. "Oh, Your Majesty, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to worry everyone." "But what's wrong?" asked Finn. "Why did you run away?" added Felix. Fay took a deep breath. "It's my fiddle," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Yesterday while we were playing, one of my strings made a funny sound. A twang instead of a zing. I tried to fix it, but I couldn't. I felt so embarrassed. I thought I wasn't good enough to play for you anymore. I thought if I couldn't be perfect, I shouldn't play at all." Old King Cole's face softened. He sat down on the mossy stone next to her. He didn't look like a king now, just a kind old friend. "Oh, Fay," he said gently, "is that what you thought?" He looked at Finn and Felix. "Finn, has your fiddle ever made a funny sound?" Finn nodded. "Yes, Your Majesty. Sometimes a string gets loose, and it sounds like a squeaky mouse." The king turned to Felix. "And you, Felix?" Felix smiled a little. "Of course. One time, my bow slipped, and it sounded like a grumpy bear growling." The king chuckled, and his famous merriness started to return. He looked back at Fay. "You see," he said, "everyone makes mistakes, even kings. One time, I spilled my porridge all over my royal robes. It was a sticky mess. But does that mean I should stop eating porridge forever?" Fay giggled through her tears. "No, Your Majesty." "Exactly." The king beamed. "Being perfect isn't what makes us happy, and it's not what makes your music beautiful. What makes your music special is the heart you put into it. The joy, the stories, and yes, even the occasional twang. It's all part of the song. We don't want you to be perfect, Fay. We just want you." Fay looked at her fiddle, then at her friends, and finally at the kind king. A real smile, a true and happy smile, spread across her face. "Really?" she asked. "Really?" said Finn and Felix in unison. "More than really," boomed the king. "Now let's see about that string." Felix, who was very good at fixing things, took a look at the fiddle. "Aha," he said. "It's just a little loose. A quick twist here, a little tune up there, and voila." He handed the fiddle back to Fay. "Try it." Fay put the fiddle under her chin, drew her bow across the strings, and out came the most beautiful, clear, and joyful note you've ever heard. It soared through the woods, making the leaves dance and the birds sing along. "Hooray!" cheered the king, clapping his hands. Fay's heart was full to bursting. She wasn't sad or scared anymore. She was just happy to be with her friends. "Let's go back to the castle," she said excitedly. "I feel a very merry tune coming on." And so, they all walked back together, not in silence, but with music filling the air. Fay played a happy, skipping tune, and Finn and Felix joined in, creating a wonderful harmony. King Cole hummed along, his worries completely gone. When they arrived back at the castle, the king called out, louder and merrier than ever before. Bring my pipe. Bring my bowl. And bring my fiddlers 3. This time, all 3 fiddlers were there. Fay, Finn, and Felix stood together, and they began to play. They played the happiest, most toe-tapping, most joyful song the castle had ever heard. The king laughed his big, hearty laugh. The cooks danced as they cooked. The guards swayed at their posts. The little page boy Pip did a joyful jig, and even the castle cat chased its tail in a happy circle. The merriness was back, bigger and brighter than ever, and old King Cole, the merry old soul, knew that true happiness isn't about everything being perfect. It's about being together, helping each other, and sharing joy, even when a string goes twang. And the lesson of our story today is a very important one. It's okay to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect all the time, and that's completely fine. The most important thing is to be brave enough to ask for help and to remember that your friends and family love you just the way you are, mistakes and all. Your unique talents are special, not because they're perfect, but because they come from you. Thank you so much for joining me for this story. I hope you had as much fun as King Cole and his fiddlers. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more wonderful adventures. See you next time. Bye-bye.